In July of 2023, Phoenix, Arizona recorded 31 consecutive days of temperatures above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. People died in their own apartments because their air conditioners broke and the repair companies could not keep up with service calls. Hospital emergency rooms filled with heat stroke victims. The electric grid hit record load 19 days in a row. The cost to cool an average Phoenix home that summer ran $400 to $600 per month. Now here is what they will not tell you. 80 miles south of Phoenix sits the town of Florence, Arizona, where the original adobe and wood frame homes built between 1860 and 1895 maintain interior temperatures between 65 and 75 degrees during the same brutal summer. No air conditioning, no swamp coolers, no electricity at all. The homes built by American settlers 150 years ago stay cooler than the modern houses built next door in 2020. The pioneers solved this problem before the Civil War. We forgot how they did it in 2 generations. I'm Bob, and welcome to When the Lights Go Out. Subscribe and hit the bell, because when the modern world stops working, you want to know this stuff before you need it. I've been in construction for 20 years. I've worked summers in Louisiana, Texas, and the Carolinas, places where the heat does not break, even at night. I've installed dozens of central air systems in new builds that cost the homeowner $10,000 to put in and another $400 a month to run. And I can tell you something that took me a decade in the trade to figure out. Almost every one of those houses was designed to fail without that air conditioning system. They could not survive a single summer day if the power went out. But 2 blocks over, an 1870 farmhouse with the original windows, original porches, and original ceiling structure stays comfortable through the entire summer with the windows open. The difference is not nostalgia. It is engineering. The building industry stopped teaching. The technology I am describing has a name. It is called passive cooling, and it works through 5 separate physical principles that American pioneer builders combined into one integrated system. Let me walk through each one, because once you see how they connected, you will never look at modern houses the same way again. First principle, thermal mass. Pioneer homes were built with thick walls. Adobe walls, 18 to 24 inches thick in the Southwest. Stone walls, 12 to 16 inches thick in Pennsylvania. Heavy timber and plaster construction across the South. That mass absorbs heat slowly during the day. By the time the heat works its way through the wall to the interior, the sun is setting. At night, the wall releases the absorbed heat outward into the cooler night air. The interior never feels the peak temperature of midday. Modern stick frame construction with 2x4 walls and fiberglass insulation has almost zero thermal mass. The interior temperature follows the exterior temperature within 30 to 90 minutes. Pioneer construction lagged temperature by 12 to 18 hours. That's the entire point. Second principle, cross ventilation. Look at any farmhouse built before 1900. The windows are positioned on opposite walls. The doors line up across the house. The hallways are wide and run straight from front to back. That layout is not a coincidence. It was designed to pull air through the house in a continuous stream. The southern dogtrot house took this to an extreme. It was built as 2 separate cabins connected by a covered breezeway, and that created a permanent wind tunnel down the middle. The Department of Energy has documented dogtrot houses moving air through interior spaces at 3 to 5 miles per hour, even when the exterior wind is dead calm. That's because the breezeway acts as a low-pressure zone that pulls air from every adjacent room. Sit in one, and the breeze never stops. Third principle, deep porches and overhangs. Every photograph of a pioneer farmhouse shows wraparound porches 8 to 12 feet deep, with roofs extending well past the porch edge. These were not decorative. They were calculated. In the summer, when the sun is high, the porch roof shades the entire face of the house and most of the windows. The walls never receive direct sunlight between roughly 9 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. In the winter, when the sun is lower in the sky, the same porch allows direct light into the windows for natural heating. One structure, 2 seasonal modes, no controls. Modern American houses, especially in the South, have eaves of 12 to 18 inches at most. The walls cook in the sun for 10 hours a day in summer. The owners then spend $400 a month trying to reverse what the building design caused. Fourth principle, high ceilings and stack ventilation. Pioneer houses had ceilings 10 to 14 feet tall on the first floor, with operable transom windows above every interior door. Stairwells were open and acted as chimneys for hot air. As heat rose into the upper ceiling space, it pulled cooler air in from windows at floor level. The same physics that drives a fireplace chimney drives the whole house. The Pantheon in Rome, the dogtrot in Tennessee, the rancho in Mexico, all of them use the same principle. Modern 8-foot ceilings. Trap hot air directly above your head. You feel it. You crank the thermostat down. The system runs harder. Fifth principle, light-colored roofs and orientation. Pioneer builders did not build their houses facing any direction the lot happened to have. They oriented the long axis of the house east-west, so the broad walls faced north and south. The north wall received almost no direct sun in summer. The south wall received filtered, manageable light. The short east and west walls, which take the most brutal sun at sunrise and sunset, were small in surface area. Modern subdivisions ignore this entirely. Houses face the street, regardless of solar orientation. I've worked on builds where the master bedroom faces due west, which means it bakes for 4 hours every summer afternoon. The owner is then sold a more powerful air conditioner to compensate for the building's design failure. All 5 principles working together produced houses that stayed 20 to 35 degrees cooler than outside, without a single moving part, without electricity, and with annual cooling costs of 0. The Oak Ridge National Laboratory, the United States Department of Energy Research Lab in Tennessee, has spent decades studying these old buildings. Their published data confirms it. 18th and 19th century buildings in the American South averaged interior temperatures 65 to 75 degrees during summer afternoons that hit 100 degrees outside. Modern code-built houses in the same climate, with central air running, average 74 to 78 degrees, while consuming 3,000 kilowatt hours per cooling season. So why did this disappear? You already know the answer. The American HVAC industry generates over $174 billion annually. The electric utility industry adds another $150 billion. Both industries make money every single month because you depend on mechanical cooling. A house designed to cool itself without electricity is a house that does not generate recurring revenue for anyone. After World War II, when air conditioning became commercially affordable, the building industry pivoted hard. They stopped building deep porches. They stopped specifying thick walls. They stopped designing for solar orientation. They started building cheap, fast, thermally dead boxes that required mechanical cooling to be habitable. The HVAC unit became the only thing standing between the homeowner and a 110 degree interior. That is not a coincidence. That is a business model. Modern building codes finish the job. The International Energy Conservation Code, that most American jurisdictions adopt, calculates a home's performance based on insulation values, mechanical equipment efficiency, and air sealing. None of those metrics measure passive cooling capacity. A house with no porches, no operable windows, and a stick frame wall meets code as long as the air conditioner is sized correctly. A traditional dogtrot or adobe home that would cool itself for free often cannot pass modern code without modifications that compromise its passive performance. If you own an older home, you have most of the work already done for you. Restore the original windows. Open them. Use the cross ventilation pattern that was built in. Install ceiling fans to assist air movement. Add awnings or restore deep porches on the south and west sides. Total cost for a typical retrofit runs $200 to $1,500, depending on how much restoration is needed. Annual savings, calculated against a typical central air bill in the south, run $800 to $2,000. The payback period is under 1 summer. If you are building new, you have to fight the system to do it right. You will need an architect who actually understands vernacular construction, not someone who just draws square boxes. Look for architects certified in passive house design or members of the Institute of Classical Architecture and Art. Specify thermal mass walls. Specify proper orientation. Demand deep overhangs. Add operable transoms. Build high ceilings with vented stairwells. The total construction premium runs about 5% above standard stick frame. Annual operating savings, projected over a 30-year mortgage, exceed the construction premium within 4 to 7 years. After that, it is pure money in your pocket for the next quarter century. The pioneers who settled this continent built houses that stayed comfortable through summers that killed people in modern apartments 2 centuries later. They did it without electricity. They did it without machinery. They did it by understanding 5 principles of physics that the building industry stopped teaching when air conditioning became a profit center. When the lights go out, when the grid hits peak load and the rolling blackouts start, when the heat wave breaks the air conditioning and the repair guy cannot come for a week, when whatever is coming next finally arrives, the people who lose are the people whose homes were designed to need a machine. The people whose great-grandfather's farmhouse is still standing do not lose anything. They open the windows. The kind of knowledge that matters most when the modern world stops working is not complicated. It has just been quietly forgotten on purpose. Pioneer cooling solved. But there is a part of every American home that is silently destroying your wallet every summer. It is the attic above your head. It is hitting 150 degrees right now while you watch this video. And the 1820s fix that solves it costs $7. Every contractor knows it. None of them will tell you. That is the next video. Subscribe to When the Lights Go Out. Watch the next video appearing on your screen right now.